we're live now, but we're just gonna go through the clip, I figure. And anything that
Yes,
jumps out at
please.
you, feel free to bring it up. Let me just tweet out that YouTube link. Okay. Oakley dokley, artichokely, and we're live, baby. Ah, I'm so happy.
Ugh, this is so
Okay.
good. I'm elated. Right there with you.
So, Ren, are you new to StreamYard?
Yes.
So we'll be able to see people's comments as they come in on the comments tab on the right. And hello, Wheel Chazeel. Good morning or
Hey,
afternoon.
Wheel Chazeel.
And let's just jump right in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Maidens of the Spear, where today we have an extra special guest maiden, Ren Sadai. Hello, Ren.
Oh my god, I got called a maiden. That just made me so happy.
Well, you are. Everyone is. We are all Maidens of the Spear here.
Hell yeah.
Ren, I just know you from around Twitter and from the Queer's Blessing Discord, but I take it you're a Wheel of Time fan.
Yes. And by the way, Queer's Blessing Discord is arguably the best Discord. I might be a little biased, but yeah.
I mean, without further ado, do you want to just drop right into this clip?
Oh my god, please.
Let's
Yes,
watch it.
now.
You get to watch me in my bad ripping.
I am Moraine Sedai. 20 years ago, I learned a secret. A vision of a baby being born. A baby who could change the world. In the last age, the Dark One was trapped by the last dragon at the cost of almost everything. 20 years ago, the last dragon was reborn. We don't know where or to whom. What I do know is that my mission is to find them. But we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn. And the whole world will turn to darkness. There will be one who can stand against him. The dragon has been born again. Who is the Dragon Reborn?
Oh, so good.
I think that's my 10th rewatch, and I'm still goosebumpy and squishy and teary-eyed watching that.
Maya Gaia, this is the first you're hearing of a drop, and Roger. So this clip wasn't really dropped anywhere. Well, it was dropped very quietly on the Amazon Prime page for the video, for the TV show. And I think your tweet, Ren, was the first I saw of it.
Yeah, and I want to give props to Anne Caldazar on Twitter was the one who let me know, and they're also a lovely person to follow too. So, but yeah.
Let's just watch it again, just one more time through, and then we'll do the slow breakdown.
Yes, here for it.
I am Moraine Sedai. 20 years ago, I learned a secret. A vision of a baby being born. A baby who could change the world. In the last age, the Dark One was trapped by the last dragon at the cost of almost everything. 20 years ago, the last dragon was reborn. We don't know where or to whom. What I do know is that my mission is to find them. But we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn. And the whole world will turn to darkness. There will be one who can stand against him. The dragon has been born again. Who is the Dragon Reborn?
Okay.
Who is the Dragon Reborn?
Is Bodhi, it's not available in Singapore. Well, you know what that means. You know what that means, Bodhi. We're gonna watch it again for you, so you can see it one more time, and I'll make it full screen this time, so you can get a really good look at it, Bodhi.
I am Moraine Sedai. 20 years ago, I learned a secret. A vision of a baby being born. A baby who could change the world. In the Last Age, the Dark One was trapped by the last dragon at the cost of almost everything. 20 years ago, the last dragon was reborn. We don't know where or to whom. What I do know is that my mission is to find them. But we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn. And the whole world will turn to darkness. There will be one who can stand against him. The dragon has been born again. Who is the dragon reborn?
Ren, who is the dragon reborn? Who is the dragon reborn gonna be? I'm just gonna
I
say
don't know.
right
I'm only
now.
on book 1, so no, I'm just kidding.
This will be a spoiler chat. If you're a new viewer of the TV show and you don't want spoilers, get out of here.
Yeah,
That's your warning.
and go finish
And
the books because they're
go
delightful.
finish the books.
And come back. Yeah.
Okay, Michael, they did do Tom's mustache dirty, but this clip is so good, or
So good.
so good.
Yeah. And also, if they did skip the mustache, they doubled down on the silver foxness, so
They did
it kind of
indeed.
came out in the wash.
Okay, Bodhi, just jumping right in with that main point. They're really including
Mhm.
Egwene in the mix. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
are.
noticed they had her actually jumping up and gasping during the
Mhm.
like he's in our minds. Which unless I'm mistaken, Egwene doesn't really get any of the visits that the boys do.
She doesn't. In the Great Hunt, she starts seeing Balsamon in dreams, but only because I think it's implied because she's like subconsciously trying to protect Rand's dreams.
Right, right. And I love that it seems like they're leaning into the fact that she might actually be the Dragon Reborn, which I
Yeah.
am so here for.
Yeah, I love it. Why not? Yeah, there it is. The little dream scene. Everybody's having dreams. Okay.
Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not...
Yeah, it's also interesting that I'm glad they have some dreams here. We
Mhm.
haven't seen any evidence that like Ishamael will be in season 1, but that's okay.
I have a feeling they're going to include some
Mm,
of that, and they're just holding out because they've been really cheekily kind of giving us drips of different tastiness here and there.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Balsamon is Steve personally. Are you familiar with Steve?
Yeah, but I was sort of late on the game there, so I was like, I sort of get what's going on with Steve, but
Yeah, it's for anyone who doesn't know, Steve is just someone who's been cast. They're like listed as Steve. I think it's Balsamon.
yeah.
Cara Carnival asks, do you think if they're including Egwene in the mix and they're also making Egwene ta'veren? Maybe. There's a scene in The Eye of the World where Moraine like entertains the idea that
Mhm.
Egwene and Nynaeve too is ta'veren. I think like canonly they are not in the books because there are a few people who can see ta'veren who never remark on it.
Yeah.
But when you look at Egwene's story, like she's pretty ta'veren-y.
On one hand, I love the idea of her as ta'veren just because it's a nice continuation of that thread of kind of how everyone has power, not just a singular
Mhm.
person and not just the boys. On the other hand, I think other people have pointed this out too, that I kind of don't want them to make her ta'veren because then it might diminish some of the just
Mm,
absolute incredibleness that she brings to the story.
yeah,
But I'm open either way,
I'm open either way. I mean,
which kind
oh,
of sums me up for a lot of things in life.
our Carnival just said that. She's conflicted about what that does for Egwene's agency,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
yeah, I feel it. I don't know. It would just depend on how they handled it. It would be interesting if they make it so that the dragon within the TV show mythos doesn't um no, I yeah, it doesn't have to be a male channeler,
Hmm.
which
I
I'm
mean, I
fine
was
with that.
even thinking, I'm curious if they'll keep that question going till the very end. Like, I could even see the last battle, Egwene's, Flame of Tarval, and people be like, oh, wow, so she's clearly the dragon, actually. And, you'll just kind of keep guessing right until the very end. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Michael says Steve is Narg. Maybe. That's a good point. Uh I think if they were like making this TV show raw, they could maybe pull that off. But
Hmm.
given just how much information is available online and like on Twitter, I can't imagine they go the whole first season without revealing dramatically at the end that Rand is the dragon. Um,
Yeah.
'Cause you just couldn't sustain that for 8 years of fandom without it being spoiled.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Although, even if they go that route, there's something that I'm sensing from the way they're positioning the show that I'm super excited for, which is that they're really leaning into something I think is core to the book as well. But I love that Jordan really kind of challenged the idea of like the single hero.
Hmm.
So he was really, we know he was playing with Tolkien, right? But he was also at its heart kind of playing with the monomyth. Like the hero's journey, for folks who aren't aware, is this kind of framework that supposedly a lot of myths follow, where there's like this singular hero, usually a guy who like conquers the dark through his sheer force of will and brilliance. And it's actually a really fascinating framework, but a lot of people have critiqued it more recently because it's kind of white guy, like
Yeah,
colonialist, white
if you've
supremacist.
seen
It like leans a little, yeah.
if you've seen Star Wars, the original Star Wars trilogy was like co-written with Joseph Campbell, who wrote The Hero's Journey or the Hero of a
Totally.
Thousand Faces or whatever.
Yeah, and it's fascinating stuff. But yeah, so I love that Jordan really complicates that in the books and how like even Rand's big, just fucking tear inducing speech at the end is like it's
Uh,
about this person and this person. So I really sense that they're leaning into that, which I'm so here for.
yeah, I love it. I like all the focus. I think I mean I read The Eye of the World so long ago when I was 14, and I wish I'd kept a journal while reading it so I knew exactly what I
Mm.
thought. But like in retrospect, it's very obvious that Rand is gonna be the dragon because it's his POV.
Yeah.
Um, but I like that with the TV show, they're able to keep that a little bit more up in the air. I like all the focus
Hmm.
on Matt and Perrin and Egwene early on. I do love the idea of maybe Egwene's the dragon because there is like within the Wheel of Time lore, it's not always the dragon who fights the Dark One. There's always also like what is her name, like Amarisu or something. Um, there is like a female counterpart to the dragon. I like the idea that it's just one dragon who can be anybody. Um,
Hmm.
so why not be Egwene? I love
Hell
this
yeah.
sweater. It looks so comfy.
A
Well, and I
vision
also
for me.
wonder, go for it.
Oh no, I was just kind of scrubbing through. Wait. Okay. We're being recommended. Bearzerger says the dead sheep in the rock formation right afterwards. What are they? The dragon's fang. Okay. And now
Ooh.
Bodhi wants to see it. Bodhi wants to see it. Um, you know
Oh,
what?
fuck. Wait, is this? I forget if you do the cussing thing,
You
Sarah.
can cuss here.
Okay. I did not fucking catch that it was in the shape of a dragon's fang. That is so dope.
Okay, woman dragon. Um, oh, woman dragon. Uh, yes, I do have a spoilers banner. I apologize to anyone who was watching. I know all the non Wheel of Time obsessed super fans are the ones dropping everything for a last minute live stream on a Friday afternoon. But no, you're right. Okay. Ooh. All right.
Wow, that was really
Oh wait,
spot
shit.
on.
That was shit. I'm getting
Oh,
there.
and look at
Okay.
that!
It is a dragon thing. I'm gonna
And the
take
shot
away the
before,
banner
actually, you were
just so we
just
can see it.
at.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and actually scrub to the shot directly before or after that you were just on, because it's also in the opposite fang, the opposite symbol.
Oh, the
Yeah,
flame of
see?
Tar-Valon.
So you've got
Damn.
the yin and the
Look at
yang
these. Look at
there.
these clever people.
Oh,
That's
this
actually
is
so
oh my god,
cool.
I eat this stuff up. This is my
That's so good.
favorite. And it really signals to me the level of thought and care they're putting into this is so
Yeah.
rad.
Um, it is so creepy and awesome. Uh, who do we think did? Okay, just I know we don't have any info here. What's your guess? Who made this?
Pattern
Uh,
Fane?
Paddin Fan. I was thinking Trollocs, probably led by Paddin Fan. Oh, someone said we get to
Mhm.
see Paddin Fan's cart. Where?
Oh. Oh, you
Where's?
know what? That's Perrin there, and I wonder
Yeah. Or is
if
that
they're gonna
Lan?
make us think that that's wolves.
I think that
It's
might be
not, it's probably not the
Lan.
wolves, but, like,
Because that looks
oh,
like,
you
is
think
that a
it's Lan?
top knot there?
Oh, man, I can't,
It's
oh,
so
you know
hard.
what? Yeah, no, that's definitely Lan.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, that's
Lan.
Lan.
Okay, I'm gonna go scrubbing for Paddin Fan's cart. Do 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 do. We're on a cart hunt looking for a cart. Cart hunt looking for a cart. Paddin Fane's been there from the start, so we're looking for Paddin Fane's cart. Woo! Did we find it? Nope, I ran out of time. Oh, there it is.
Oh, was that it?
Yes, that looks like a Paddin Fane cart.
Nice. Oh, yeah, that is definitely a Pattern Fane cart. Give me some buckles, give me some books.
This is not a drill, people. No, this is not a drill. Uh, let's get that
Oh, look
voice
at that
down.
cheap shearling coat on this
So good.
rad elder gentleman here.
Do we think it's Senbui?
No, that person is way too coolly dressed to be Senbui.
uh, yeah, I hope I I hope it's not Senbui. I do want Senbui in the show. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
let's.
I mean, who else is Nynaeve gonna thump on?
Like, I love all the costumes in this show. Like so far, that's what my favorite part of what we've seen.
Totally. You know, I had this interesting moment when I finally saw the first clips and things of realizing that I think for a while I thought in my head that I was seeing the world when I was reading as almost like a cartoon. And when I watched the clips, I realized it was just because the world is so fucking colorful that it was
Yeah,
almost reading to me in that way. And I don't mean that as a criticism. I mean that in
yeah,
a
for sure.
like it was so rich, and so I love that they're translating that to the screen here.
I think it's great. Um, no one's on the Twitch stream. I know, Marissa. I set out to be a Wheel of Time Twitch streamer, and then everyone insisted on watching on YouTube. So here we are. Uh, um, I do love that shot. It is creepy and gross. Okay. You want to talk Shatter Logoth? Speaking of
Yeah, let's do it.
colorful, let's get into the least
Always.
colorful part of this.
So the thing that stood out to me about Shadar Logoth was, did you catch the horse being eaten in
Hmm.
real time?
Very creepy.
Yeah.
I think it's coming up. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're putting a lot of emphasis on Shatter Logoth in a lot of the trailers, which is interesting. It makes sense because they built the whole fucking set. So it's like, you want their money's worth.
I also wonder, I suspect they're going to be doing a lot of showing us, especially non-readers, what's at stake
Mhm.
if we let the shadow take over. And Shadow Logoth's a pretty good hint
Yeah.
at that.
The horse crumbles as if it was made from stone. It's so dark
Mm-hmm.
and creepy. Let's watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Get back here, horse. You gotta get et again.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, it's a
Just like that
little.
last expiring breath leaving the horse.
And I know we're being very positive in this stream. Generally, lots to be positive about. But I think because so much else is practical, the horse really jumps out at me as some obvious CGI.
That's fair.
But that's
That's
okay.
fair.
I'm glad they didn't actually feed a horse to a shadow mist. You know, I think that would violate some animal ethics rules.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. As long as it's not Bella, you know?
No, it's not Aldeeb dying of Mashadar. Aldeeb survives the entire story. Oh, let me get that spoilers banner. Spoilers!
Spoilers about the horses, y'all.
Aldeeb and Mandarb survive the whole dang thing. I mean, Mandarb for sure does. Aldeeb, I think, is just like chilling out at the stables at the Sun Palace during the Carmen Gaidon. And I believe Bella obviously survives as well.
Oh yeah, there is no question.
The fact that Rand doesn't ride away from Tarman Gaidon on Bella, honestly, so
Yeah!
sad.
Everyone had questions about the pipe, and that was the question I had, is like, where the fuck is Bella?
No horses were harmed in the production of this series. Don't mention sheep, though. Yeah.
Thank you,
Good point.
Bearsburger, yeah.
Good point. Yes, the sweeping cinematography shots are breathtaking, and let's talk about those. Let's just kind of like watch back through. We're gonna watch back through silently, so feel free to comment, Ren, on anything you see. The scenery, though, just like the location
Ugh.
scouting they did, this is some of like the most beautiful natural scenery that I had never seen before.
You know, so just this is a
Aldeeb.
personal thing, but uh my some of my ancestors are actually from the exact area they filmed Edmund's Field in, which
Oh wow.
just
Where
yeah, it's
in
very
like
special.
in the
It's
Czech
in the
Republic?
Soka River Valley, actually in Slovenia.
Oh, so
That's where
cool.
they built the town that they wound up burning down. So yeah, please continue with the sweepage.
Oh, I stopped here because I fucking love wherever this is. Like we saw shots
Yeah.
of this earlier when Rand and Matt were like climbing through it. It seems to be on the other
Hmm.
side of the river from Shadow Logoth. But just where is this? I want to go to there.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I'm sure once it's live, we'll be able to kind of snoop where each scene was.
I,
Who's
yeah,
riding there?
we're jumping. That one?
Yeah, because that doesn't. I guess it's just Moraine. No, that's a different horse.
I wish I could enhance.
I guess I'll leave that one to Lauren or something.
It could be. Yeah, I'm sure Lauren will tell us. It's a lot of hair. I think it's Moraine. I think it
Yeah.
is Aldeeb. I think because we get this patch of white there.
Hmm.
I think it's Moraine. Maybe I have no idea who else has hair like that. But they do have something on their back. So it could be Lan. That looks like maybe a sword in that shot.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Good catch.
or it's Nynaeve riding off to follow them.
I like
I don't
that.
know. Um, I love Moraine's voiceover. Super feel moose ring vibe.
Yes.
Let's hear it again.
What I do know is that my mission is to find them.
Yeah, it is Moraine. Yes.
Oh, and this shot when she has the tear in her
But
eye.
we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn. And the whole world will turn.
Okay, let's talk about this shot here because Bodhi brought it up. And Bodhi and I are doing a live stream later this afternoon where we will be talking about Wheel of Time Thirst.
Oh, can I stay, please? I'm just kidding.
I mean, sure. Bodhi, where was your comment, Bodhi? Get back here. Looking for it. Okay. I can see Thirst of Time exploding with Rand blowing that candle. Yeah. I'll make a little gif of a Rand blowing gif. Okay,
Oh my
play in
God,
full,
please.
please, for Wheel Up Time. Of course, I'll play in full for you. We'll go back to full screen.
I am Moraine Sedai. 20 years ago, I learned a secret. A vision of a baby being born. A baby who could change the world. In the Last Age, the Dark One was trapped by the last dragon at the cost of almost everything. 20 years ago, the last dragon was reborn. We don't know where or to whom. What I do know is that my mission is to find them. But we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn, and the whole world will turn to darkness. There will be one who can stand against him. The dragon has been born again. Who is the dragon reborn?
I'm still muted. Okay. Um, yeah, it's so good. Yosha making me question myself all over again, says Marissa. Um,
I know,
please
I'm
say
so
more.
grateful to be pansexual watching this show because I get to just enjoy everyone.
I know. It's wonderful. It's just like a buffet of hot fantasy. People are complaining online about how hot all the actors are, and I'm like, what? Why would
Yeah.
you complain about that?
No complaints from me.
Yeah, no. The magic is believable, the monsters I get, but the people are too hot.
Tone it down, please.
Dreams, guys. We get dreams. Yes, we
Mm.
do. It's great.
Oh yeah. For a second I thought maybe the lamb's fang was a dream, but actually if that's land, then it wasn't.
Okay, please play the whole thing through again. I mean, okay, if I have to. If I have to play it again.
I am Moraine Sedai. 20 years ago, I learned a secret. A vision of a baby being born. A baby who could change the world. In the Last Age, the Dark One was trapped by the last dragon at the cost of almost everything. 20 years ago, the last dragon was reborn. We don't know where or to whom. What I do know is that my mission is to find them. But we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn, and the whole world will turn to darkness. There will be one who can stand against him. The dragon has been born again. Who is the dragon reborn?
Muted.
Oh,
Who is the
there you go,
dragon
yeah.
reborn? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get my little bubble back up there. It's I love it. I love watching
Ah,
it.
there's it's funny the timing seeing this because I was listening to an episode of your podcast, Sarah, this morning on my morning jog, and your wonderful co-host, I can't remember.
Mary
I'm
Lou.
so sorry, Mary Lou. The two of you were talking about how kind of almost like comparing that Rand and Egwene experienced traumatic events and how we get to kind of see them dealing with that in their own unique ways, but kind of in parallel. And I wonder, based on what we've seen so far, and even in this clip, I'm kind of wondering if they're going to play up that like almost like parallel journey story a bit more. I mean, aside from the trauma, like also their rise to power and sort of how
Yeah.
she represents the female and he the male and blah blah blah.
I think they will for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, like Madeline Madden is awesome. So
Yeah.
I mean, she should get all the screen time she can.
Yes,
And
please.
I think they definitely will. I mean, Egwene's story is really it's so good. Like, Egwene's
Mhm.
story would be a fantastic epic fantasy novel just on its own. So,
Mhm.
um,
I'm
is that
yeah,
Snowy
it's almost
Mountain meant to be Dragon Mount? We've seen Dragon Mount. We know what Dragon Mount looks like, but let me look for a Snowy Mountain.
is it that one in the background thing
That one
that
back there. Which mountain, James? That one? Dragon Mount looks like a volcano. We saw it in the trailer, the original trail teaser.
Yeah, I even saw some actual geologist on Twitter was pleased with how they properly shaped the mountain to look like an actual volcanic mountain.
Um, if you mean this part, I think it's not snowy. I think it's just white rock. Okay. Um, yeah. So is this longer than the teaser? This is
I think it's shorter than the
it's
Wine
like a
Spring Inn
minute.
clip.
It's only
Yeah,
like a minute.
yeah. Oh, we definitely still have a proper trailer
Oh
coming.
yeah, this isn't the trailer. But I do like as we were watching this again, these teasers are so well edited. Whoever's editing these teasers and trailers, good job. Like all the cuts to the music are freaking on point.
Mhm.
Uh,
Oh god, I didn't even listen to the music yet.
oh, you didn't listen to the music? Are you saying we need
I'm
to
just
we need to
so
play it
overwhelmed.
again?
Maybe, yeah. Because I have been loving Lauren Balk's stuff.
I am Moraine Sedai. 20 years
I
ago,
love how
I learned a
synthy the
secret.
music is.
A vision of a baby being born. A baby who could change the world. In the last age, the Dark One
See,
was
but
trapped by
I
the
don't know
last
because the
dragon at the
first
cost of almost
teaser
everything.
trailer we got, he said was not his work.
20 years ago,
Oh, really?
the last dragon
Yeah, so I don't
was
know if this
reborn.
one was.
We don't know where or to whom.
This sounds like him though.
What I do know is that my mission is to find
Those
them.
strings.
It's good.
But we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn. And the whole world will turn to darkness. There will be one who can stand against him. The dragon has been born again. Who is the dragon reborn?
Yeah, I think like the sound editing, the sound design in this teaser is really good. The music
Mhm.
feels pretty generic, so I mean it's fine. It's unobjectionable, but I I don't think this is like the main theme or anything.
Yeah, and I'm just curious to see what,
Yeah, it
whether
just
this
sounds like
is
trailer
his or
music.
not. Yeah.
I,
Especially since that first one wasn't him.
Most movie trailers and TV trailers are edited by independent trailer houses, not the
Mhm.
people working on the show themselves. So I think this is not the music. I am
Yeah.
disappointed that the original teaser music's not his music because I actually really liked that music.
Yeah, the drums hit really hard on that.
So
That was
good.
pretty good. Yeah.
Um,
The Dark One
But you're
is
right, the editing on this one is just
it's
I
really
don't know, something about this just felt more, it felt darker to me than stuff we've seen. It felt a bit more action-packed in a way than stuff we've
yeah.
seen.
I just want to because I do some video editing stuff, so I like recognizing when I see good work. Um,
Mhm.
I just want to play that little clip. Yeah, this little part with the dreams because it's really well cut.
already in the backs of our minds.
That's
If I
great.
do not succeed,
Yeah.
Great rhythm there.
Yeah.
Um, it seems like they're setting the merge all up to be the Dream Invaders. Maybe it's just a teaser.
That's an interesting call. Bye,
Bodhi,
Bodhi.
go back to sleep. What are you doing? Bodhi and I will be live talking Wheel of Time Thirst later this afternoon at 4 p.m. PST. Um, so excited. But okay, this watching this through, I did have a thought.
you know is that my mission is to find them. But we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds.
So they're using Shadow Logoth as like visual representation of the shadow.
Mhm.
which might just be convenience for teasers. It's like very easily visual messaging of evil. Um, so for people who haven't read the books, I can see it. But um, I do think, or at least I hope in the show, that they don't just mush Shadow Logoth together with the Shadow. I like it as an independent evil.
Yeah, why do you like it as an independent evil, actually? I'm with you,
Um,
I just wanna talk it out.
yeah, two reasons. Like at a plot point, it doesn't make sense for them to go take refuge in Shadow Logoth unless it's something Trollocs and Fades are afraid of. Um, so the fact that they're even going there, like it would be weird if they're like, yeah, this is a place of the shadow, but we're gonna hide there. Last place they'll
Mhm.
look. It's like when Rand hides in the women's quarters in Faldara. Um, the reason I like it thematically is I think it's important. To my conception of the Dark One, which I don't see the Dark One as like cartoonish evil. Like this isn't really a story of like good versus evil in the classic knights and swords and chivalry way. Um, I see the Dark One representative of more of like a like abject nihilism, death to existence, anti-life, anti-hope. Whereas Shadow Logoth is a different kind of evil because Shadow Logoth was born from Eridal, from, the overly zealous fighting of the Shadow. And I see Shadow Logoth as fully human evil. Like, if the Dark One is existential, broad evil, Shadow Logoth is the evil nascent in humanity. And just at a thematic level, I like those two poles existing. I think it adds more complexity to like the moral messaging of the story.
Yes, yes, I said everything I would say, and that kind of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about earlier with, them intentionally sort of expanding the idea of who the hero is gonna be in the story
Mhm.
as well. Even if we do find out, yeah, it's Rand, like, I think they're still gonna show that it's not just him that the story is revolving around, and totally spot on that evil's gonna take many different forms, or the dark's gonna take many different forms in this tale as well. And I love your point about how this is a very much a human evil, and yet it's so magical.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to do a good job of helping people, especially those not familiar with the books, expand their sense of what magic means here. That it's way more than just Aes Sedai and channeling.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
and I
for
missed that
sure.
last comment that came through.
I was just Bear Zerger said a similar thing.
Hmm.
A few people have pointed out that we need Shadow Logoth's evil to be independent from the Dark One in order to allow the cleansing of the taint. Both I am Cutie Pie and Wheel Up Time pointed that out.
Mm.
Also, Good Morning Wine Spring Cafe.
Hi, Wine
Um,
Spring.
yeah, I mean, I think like stuff like that. Like, I agree. I think it helps to have this darkness sink for the cleansing. Um, I don't think the show is going to hold itself too tight to the specific like logic of the magic system. Like if they just wanted to say, "Oh, well, Rand and Nynaeve using the Choden Call can cleanse the taint because I don't know, they're super powerful somehow." Um, but then people, I guess, would be like, "Why couldn't they do that in the Age of Legends?" Good question, theoretical viewer. Uh, I don't know. That's why they need Shadow Logoth.
Well, Rafe has actually talked a lot about reframing this instead of good versus evil as balance, and
Hmm,
the sort of how we find or seek out that balance. But I think that's all the more reason why we need these many different manifestations of evil, because if it's a very simplistic kind of binary, then that balance, it's just not very interesting trying to pursue that. When things are much more muddied, then there's a lot more room for that to become really fucking fascinating, which is what we got
yeah,
in real time.
that's very true. Um, it'll be interesting to see how they do it because I think balance is it's a tricky line. It's a tricky line to walk. Um, you got to have good balance, I guess. I think balance is hard because I think balance as a theme is very compelling and very legitimate, but also can run the risk of becoming a watered down tale of moderation. uh,
Yeah.
which especially because this is like a big studio show, and historically big studio shows aren't willing to take like very interesting moral positions. um,
No, Amazon, how
I
dare
know,
you?
yeah. It's like we're watching like the little Prime Video logo at the bottom right. Like we're watching
Oh, I
freaking
know.
like
Ugh.
Shatter Logoth TV right now. Coming this fall on Shia Ghul Prime. uh, One thing that slightly concerns Kenny Cross is the dragon keeps being mentioned over and over in this latest teaser. So people who tune in who have never read the series may expect an actual dragon.
Yeah, I've seen that
Which-
already on the social spheres.
Yeah, it's a good
I mean,
point.
guys, didn't you already know that this is GOT, Game of Thrones ripoff? So,
It's a Game of Thrones.
I mean,
ripoff.
obviously it's going to be dragons, right?
They just Amazon desperately scrounged around for any random trashy fantasy series to try to get a Game of Thrones competitor. Um, yeah, let's just
20
how many?
years-
Let's count how many times they say dragon.
I am Moraine Sedai. 20 years ago, I learned a secret. A vision of a baby being born. A baby who could change the world. In the last age, the Dark One was trapped by the last dragon at the cost of almost everything.
One dragon.
20 years ago, the last dragon was reborn.
Two dragons.
We don't know where or to
I
whom.
keep saying last dragon.
What
Yeah.
I do know is
Avatar.
that my mission is to find them. But we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn. And the whole world will turn to darkness. There will be one who can stand against him. The dragon has been born again.
Say reborn, damn it.
Who is the dragon reborn?
Okay, there we go. More dragons. Okay, that's not that many dragons. Oh, it's more dragons than Daenerys had. So
Maybe they're emphasizing last dragon because it sort of underscores the apocalyptic vibe of.
yeah, I think that's what they just mean, like the dragon from the previous age.
Yeah.
But it comes off as like, holy shit, I didn't know this was an Aragon movie.
I have a
Yeah.
total side note. When you were replaying that, and I was kind of looking away, and I was only listening. And to your point about the sound editing, when we're in Shatter Logoth, you can literally like hear all of these like fizzy sounds of
Yeah,
the
it's so
of
good.
eating it, and I'm like, oh no, do I want like Shatter Logoth ASMR? Like, no, please.
Just like
Part of me
the
really wants that, and part of me is horrified by that.
shadow mist creatures lurking in the archways of Shatter Logoth that are just like
Oh my
Randvitar, the last dragon bender.
Yeah.
The Avatar the Last Airbender, it's inevitable. Like my first thought when I watched this trailer, because I have a particular type of broken brain now where anytime I see Wheel of Time content, I'm like, how can I turn this into a dumb meme for Twitter? My first thought was definitely let's splice this with the Avatar the Last Airbender intro. I believe Rand can save the world. Also, good continuity in their scripting, just saying baby rather than baby boy for including Egwene in the mix. Yeah. You can, for those in the know, a little wink wink, you can tell Brandon Sanderson might have been involved in this show. But I won't say more. But if
Wait,
you know, you know.
what? I don't know.
It's a reference to another Brandon Sanderson book.
Oh, I have not read. My partner keeps trying to get me to read Brandon Sanderson, and I haven't done it yet.
Yes. Pour it out for that horse. Hopefully it wasn't Mandarb. Kenny Cross, it's not Mandarb. And fuck you for even mentioning that it could be Mandarb. Obviously it's not Mandarb. Mandarb lives a happy life in Malkir. Oh, let me get this back up. Mandarb lives a happy life in Malkir after Tarmangaida.
I have so much respect for you that you only remember to put the spoilers up when we're talking about the horses. That's clearly where your concern lies.
It's what I care about. Yeah. Okay. Let's. Let me get over that YouTube. Let's get over YouTube. Let's run a poll. Who is the horse? Who is the horse? I've never run a poll before, so this is mostly just an excuse. What horse gets eaten by not yes and no. What horse gets eaten? Yes. Okay, I think it's Cloud. Is it Mandarb? I'll include that for you, Kenny Cross. Despite it being horribly wrong. Is it Aldib? Wrong. Sorry, I don't know why I have such strong feelings about this. What are the other horses? Okay, Bella, I guess. Okay, what horse gets et? There's a live poll now, so you tell me. Hopefully that worked. I've never done that before.
I wanted to go back to what we were talking about with the balance and how tricky you were saying that's going to be. Just because they're showing that. Oh, did I miss another chat come through?
Oh, just James.
Oh, Bella's child.
I'm sure Perrin and Matt's horses have names, but I don't.
Oh yeah, them. I don't remember them either. No.
Welcome to Horse Talk. Yeah, I'm gonna do a tier ranking one of these days of all the horses in the Wheel of Time. That's a beautiful horse, though. That's a beautiful horse.
I love dappled horses. Really love dappled horses.
Well, okay, we got Stepper and Pips in all of them, but I don't think they come till later. Perrin's horse definitely. It's not Stepper because Stepper is his horse later on, isn't it? Oh, does he start with Stepper? Anyway, sorry. You were saying about ballads.
No, it's totally fine. I actually lost my train of thought on that. I'm sure it'll come back. There's something else though.
Oh yes.
Please. In rewatching it, that got me so excited, and I realized we haven't talked about it yet. Fucking Perrin towards the end with like the wolf sound and like a bloody hand and shit. Like what?
Is that his hand? You think? I thought that was Matt's hand. I thought that was a foreshadowing of the Band of the Red Hand.
Oh, that would be so good.
That's what I think that
love
is. The Dark One is waiting. So his whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn, and the whole world will turn to darkness.
Okay, I know some new fan who's going crazy on their fan theorizing is going to be like, they're going to see this clip, and they're going to be like, this is Rand blowing fire. He's the dragon. They're telling us he's the dragon because he's blowing fire. Okay.
Will turn to darkness.
No, that's just a practical magic reference.
There will be one who can stand against.
Because it's a CW show.
The dragon.
Yeah, it's a CW show.
Has been born again.
Okay, you're talking about the same
what?
Here?
So, okay, whose hand is that?
That looks like Matt's coat to me.
That does look like Matt's coat.
Maybe they're going to have Matt get slashed by the dagger this time.
Oh, you know what? That does look a little Shatter Logoth in the background.
It looks a little Shatter Logoth. This looks like Matt for sure, this costume.
Yeah, that's such a good catch. Did I hear a sort of wolf sound there?
There's lightning. Okay, I really like this random little transition they do. Let's listen to the wolf sound.
Has been born again. Who is?
I don't hear a wolf sound. Anyone hear a wolf
screaming?
Sound? It's
there's
a scream.
Screaming. Yeah, it's just a scream. But I love that
Flame and the Void for the Rand shot.
Ooh, is that what we think that is?
Okay, let's start with this blood to forest transition because it's really cool.
Yeah, it's dope as hell.
The dragon has been born again. Who is the dragon reborn?
Oh, Marissa's talking about him blowing out the candle. Interesting.
Yeah.
As this Rand,
There will
Rand
be one
at
who
any
can stand
feelings
against it.
whatsoever.
The dragon
Extinguish.
has been born again. Who is the dragon reborn?
Also, that looked like Perrin was in his forge, no?
Yeah, so I noticed when I was editing that Cowboy Bebop thing, I noticed that shot from the original teaser of Perrin
20
with the
years ago,
wolf.
I
He
learned a
seems to be
secret.
wearing an apron,
A
so I
vision
do
of a
think we
baby
see
being
him in the
born. A
forge.
baby who could change the
Yeah, and he
world.
mentioned that in the
last days.
NYCC panel, like, oh, looking around at my forge or whatever.
How long are we staying live for? Forever, James. I don't know.
I'm here for as long as Sarah will have me.
We're here until we have absolutely drained this 1 minute clip.
Oh my god. I
Okay,
also
where did you
felt
see
like
Perrin in the forge?
the spot where it's like right before
With the
Matt's bloody
lightning.
hand. And I also feel like that's a classic. I don't know, there's something about um one of my minors was film studies along with gender studies.
Oh.
And so yeah, there's just something about that shot of him with the lightning that almost looks like his
Oh.
body shifts for like a second. It's like, I think, a really
Ah.
subtle
He's doing a little
hint
wolf
at his
transformation.
yeah, it just feels, and like the way he's walking, I might be alone here. It just feels a little wolfy to me.
Okay, so there we have him with the lightning.
I also
Yeah.
could just be reading into it because I love that storyline so very much and
Oh
cannot wait
wait,
for
I
it.
think I see what you're talking about.
Like, he's kind of walking, leaning forward almost,
It
and
does I will say it definitely evokes some, like, classic Dark and Stormy Night werewolf imagery.
yeah, for sure.
And his
Like,
hands
his
are he's holding his
forepaws are
hands
kind
and
of
yeah, forepaws.
Ugh, oh my god, I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, so his coat gets bigger, but I think that might just be wind.
Yeah. Oh! Yeah, maybe it's just, like, the lighting, but they definitely bulked up that size. That's probably what's evoking that sense of body transformation to me. It's just that
Yeah.
subtle, like
Dump,
yep,
dump. There
that
it
was
is.
good. That was delicious.
Yes. Oh, yeah, he gets so much bigger. I think it's wind,
Wow, but that's
but
significant.
it works really well. Okay,
Yeah.
this is the lunch break the Wine Spring Cafe needed.
Oh my
I'm
god, what are you
glad.
eating? Because you make the best Wheel of Time food.
You do make fantastic Wheel of Time food. Uh, parent is it pork with yellow peppers? Because I just read that chapter in The Great Hunt, and I've been craving this imaginary dish since then. I don't even eat pork really, but it's, just they described Loyal ate so many bowls of it. Anyway, Perrin meeting a wolf Trolloc pre-leaving Emmons Field could give him reason to be so skeptical of wolves.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea. Or he
Yeah.
could just be fearful of his own, gay side.
And true, which is what I think it is. I hope we get gay Perrin, why not?
Ugh,
Um,
please.
Make Fael a trans man, you cowards. In
Yes!
early 2020, we got a leak still of random Matt in Emmons Field. They're in shock, and Matt is holding his hands out like he has something on his hands. Okay, so maybe that's what it's from.
Yeah, but that, red hand foreshadowing
Video.
what was oh, you just tweeted some food?
Did we just see food? Oh. Oh, ooh, okay, let's bring it up.
Yeah, yes, please.
We're bringing it up. Bringing it up.
This is the live stream that I am here for.
This is the important content. This is why 31 people are watching. They're like, we want to see what Wine Spring Cafe is eating. Oh yeah, look at that sandwich. Baby.
Hey, look at that smile.
And that smile.
Aw, this is so meta. It's making me so happy. Yeah,
Yeah, hell yeah.
fucking tear into it.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, if you ever want to pop up on this live stream, just tweet at me. You never know.
Just bring food and Sarah
Bring
will let you
food. I haven't eaten yet today. I'm very hungry. So, Wine Spring Cafe did not bring enough for everybody, and she is banned henceforth
She
from
has
this
toe.
stream forever.
Sorry, you have toe.
um, bye, Marissa. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of clips we've seen before. We've seen this little shot.
Oh, ugh,
This whole
just
Matt being
beautiful.
recast thing. It's gonna be a
It's
bummer.
breaking my heart.
It's gonna be a bummer. Like, I think Donal Finn will do a fantastic job. It's just gonna be weird from a continuity standpoint.
He seems great, but I am already deeply in love with
You like
this Barney
Barney?
Harris Matt. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at Egwene. She's so beautiful and tender.
um, wait. Do I have my
I love that.
Telmotes on this computer? Could continue. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, in general, I think one of the reasons I love this bit the best of all so far is that everyone seems a lot more like raw, beat up,
Mm,
kind of like just worse for wear. Like there's this shot of Moraine with a single tear in her eye. I'm just like, oh, it's just getting me. Like this shot you have right here of Yosha as Rand. It's just like I
yeah.
remember I saw the first still image of Rand like months ago, Yosha as Rand. And I think it was maybe one of the ones with Egwene, and he just looked so happy. And I really did have this like visceral, like, oh, everything ahead of you, you poor, sweet,
Yes.
sweet sheep herder. Like,
The scene where he's like in the Wine Spring Inn and he's just like smiling up at Egwene and okay,
mhm.
here we go. Is this gonna work? Toe, all of you toe. uh,
That's amazing. I was not
uh,
expecting that. That was really good.
yes, let me though balance it out. In the interest of balance. In
To
the
go back
interest
to that.
okay, sorry. I didn't mean to just disrupt everything there. I got distracted. I'm very distractible, people. It is not my fault. Um, and for sitting through my
ADHD right here,
distraction,
so you're
you
all
all
good with
have
me.
G. You all have G.
Oh, bless you. This has
Okay.
nothing to do with the trailer, but I cannot wait to see how they handle the whole like cultural appropriation around the Fail's crew trying to like appropriate
Oh,
the
it'll be
maiden
so
shit. It's
interesting.
like, oh, it's such a good little bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Were those last shots of them after the Trolloc attack, do we think, or at Shadow Logoth? These ones we're on right now. Let's
I
watch them.
think the matte one that you pointed out was at Shutter Logoth because the background looked pretty blue.
Oh, just these rapid fire little portraits,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, those. Good question.
They
Oh,
look pretty beat up.
oh, their
That's a
sweet
tree, so I don't
faces.
think they're in Shadow Logoth.
Is that the Ways, maybe?
Interesting idea.
Is this our first look of the Ways? Because they all look real fucked up.
They're not happy. I don't think it's the Wiz. I think the Wiz will be darker. I think this is just right after the Wine Spring Inn. Not the Wine Spring. Winter Night.
Oh, yeah, good call. Oh, yeah, yeah. You know what? I just saw like a roof that looked exactly, yeah, right
Yeah.
there. That looks definitely like a Emmons Field roof.
The Blight. I don't think this is the Blight. I think the Blight looks all sandy. I think that's that shot we get of
The creepy
the
trees.
Shienarans riding into Tarwin's Gap. But I guess the Blight
Oh,
won't look like Tarwin's Gap. The Blight will look like something else. Not Ways. Ways are pure black. In your
yeah,
head,
that's how I
James.
pictured them too. But I'm curious, like, how do you pull that off?
Yeah, after Winter Night, I agree. This
Yeah.
does look like a roof behind him.
Yeah, and
Defo
they're all
morning
charred.
after could be. Matt doesn't look like Dagger Matt yet. True. The tree
Good
behind
call.
Rand might be on the village green. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's the burned tree. Oh, I'm so gonna be heartbroken about that.
This poor horse. Wait, did I ever do the poll? Did I do it? Cloud is winning 88%. Okay.
Okay. Cloud gets it. Cloud gets it.
Cloud gets et. Bye, Cloud. I'm just watching it again. Okay, we're just gonna go through. If anything in chat, if anything jumps out at you. Oh wait, is he eating on a stump? Is that a plate?
It sure looks like it. I'm a little
What
distracted by that incredible sweater, though.
Rand
That
sweater?
looks like legit hand knit by
It's
Gran.
so good. I'm allergic to wool, so I'm itchy just looking at it. But it looks so nice. Again, the costume team on this show,
Yeah, next
freaking
level.
noise. I love these little tankards they're drinking out of.
Mhm.
There's no food on this stump, this slab. I wonder
Maybe
if
it's a
he's just like
Stones
carving
board?
it.
They're about to, like, play
Oh, stones
Stones?
board. It looks like he's holding a knife or something. I was wondering if he was just like whittling.
Perrin seems like a whittler.
Yeah. It looks like he's eating on the
He's eat
stump. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
okay,
rustic chic.
it's very
He's
cottagecore.
planning his wedding for his fake wife.
Oh yeah, this parent's like, I didn't want stump plates, but Layla. No one else has a
She's
stump.
making me wear a burlap tie.
Oh, I do love this big. Look at this big oven behind them, like a big ass like pizza oven. Oh, I bet they're getting some delicious
Oh my
food out of there.
god.
Marin Alvier cooking up some honey cakes.
Mhm.
If they're eating like a Czech, oh, you said this is in Slovenia. Oh, I bet the food's so good. When Daniel Henney in the GQ interview was like, "How am I supposed to do a naked
Yes!
hot tub scene? I'm just surrounded by dumplings." I'm like, ugh. Like I
Um,
still dream about the goulash I had in Prague years and years ago. It's so good.
gosh. Also, I for one would so be here for Daniel Henney with a little pooch.
Yeah, why not?
And they'd be hot as
Little
hell,
dad bod
dope bod.
land. Um, I think you are right, Zool. That looks like a pipe. Now that I look at it. Okay.
Right
Um,
on my screen.
slowly going through. Moraine, looking
Maureen
serious.
looks so much more emotive than I picture her in the books, and I love it. I feel like it makes her so much more real.
Yeah, I agree. Because in the books, she's all like serenity and shit, but that's boring. Like I was thinking about that on my current read through. The
Yeah.
serenity, the like nobody shows emotions. Like
Oh god, I
Ran,
fucking that's
Lan raised his eyebrow 2 millimeters. That was as much as an all out gasp from other men. I'm like, let Lan have emotions. Um, oh, we haven't talked about weaves being pulled from the fire, Corwin. Let's get there. Hard no to dad bod Lan. Well, you know
what?
what? Wheel Chazil, you have what is toe for you, Wheel Chazil.
Oh my god.
Oh god, I love.
Yeah, the emotive
Okay, who
thing,
is this? Who's on?
that's
Oh,
something else I hope that they, like, play with a little bit just because to me, I just feel like it reads so much like repression, and I'm just
yeah.
not that's not my bag.
I mean, I think part of it with if they do it with Lan and they really explore, like, yeah, this is maybe because Lan has like fucking lifelong PTSD because his whole
Mhm.
country was straight up murked by the blight.
Yep.
Um, then I could see it.
Mhm. And same thing, like, even with, Dark Rand, like,
Hmm.
I'm so excited to see how that plays out, and I trust this crew to kind of bring out the problematic nature of that.
For being so accepting of your well-deserved toe, Wheel Chazil, you have earned G. Yeah, I think how they handle the Darth Rand arc, the Quaindiar Rand arc, it's
Mhm.
I believe in them. I believe in Yosha. I haven't seen much from him, but I believe in him to pull it off.
Oh my god, just that little teeny, like, clip from the wine spring thing. So many emotions when he just talks with Perrin for, like, 2 seconds. I'm totally,
Yeah,
totally
it's
here
so
for
good.
it. And I just feel like the way that the books deal with trauma, and I know you talked about this too. If you hear weird noises in the background, I have 2 90-pound dogs behind me, by the way, so that's what's going on there. Yeah, so I know you talked about this too, but one of the reasons I love the book so much is the way it just weaves trauma throughout the whole narrative. Um, yeah, and I hope they don't shy away from that, and it certainly seems like
Yeah,
they're not going to.
I don't think they will. How could it just they couldn't tell this story without addressing trauma.
I
Um,
know. Oh, look at her.
okay. Ooh,
Okay,
weave
weaves from
coming from fire.
fire.
Okay, interesting. Do we think they're putting out the fire? They're like sucking it up?
Let me see. What is the voiceover saying when that weave happens?
Good point.
If I do not succeed, the earth itself will burn.
The earth will burn. I think she's maybe extinguishing this fire here. Although it's interesting, the one power is coming from the fire.
Yeah. Maybe she's drawing on it to shoot those fireballs at the Trollocs or something.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. I do love these
I'm
lanterns
also just like,
and
why are those
everything.
lanterns not catching on fire?
Are we inside the wine spring in here, or are we outside it? We're outside, right?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
looks
we're
outside
outside.
to me.
If Moraine draws in fire, that is a big no-no in the books. To draw in fire, you're not supposed to put it out like that. I believe you.
Oh, yeah. I think I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, it's weird if she's using it that way. I mean, we see we never see it done with fire. We definitely see them put out fires with one power all the time. But like when the manor house catches on fire later in the books, Avienda channels the whole dang river on top of it rather than like sucking it
Right.
out. Um,
Right. Ooh, good catch. Yeah.
not as a woman. Hey, women can draw in fire if they want to. This is
Yeah,
a
but isn't
new
there that
turning.
weird Yeah, totally. There's that, like, that weird gendered elemental affinity thing, though, right? And, like, women are less
Yeah.
strong in fire, some bullshit like that.
Yeah, women are, but it's like it's kind of a general thing. It's like women are better at water and spirit, men are better at earth and fire. They're equal. Sorry, water and air. Men are better at earth and fire. They're equal in spirit. But like Egwene's strongest element is earth. It's not a hard and fast rule.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah. The shots are so quick, but is that Egwene's mom? Yeah, that's Marin Alvier. We
Yes.
see her
Yes.
in the Wine Spring Inn teaser.
Yeah. And they're
Yeah.
kind of holding each other, looking at, I assume, the wine spring inn burning down.
This is a reference to Yosha in the Wine Spring Inn teaser. And Perrin. Yeah, they do such a good
Mhm.
job.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes, that little nod. Yeah, yeah. That clip
It's
gave
so
me a
good.
lot of excitement for the acting.
Yeah.
'Cause it's I mean, it's pretty mundane dialogue, except for the over the top, like, "Name
Self
yourself,
will
stranger."
burn.
Yeah. This is Marin Alvier. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty mundane dialogue, but they make it feel really real. They feel like
Yes. Yeah.
friends. I like that
Yep.
relationship because the books are weird. The relationship between the boys in the books is weird because like
Mhm.
sometimes it's like we're really good friends. We went to the mountains of mist together. We did all this stuff together. We had all these adventures, but then other times it's like they don't feel that close. And I think part of that is like they're farm boys. It's not like they're going to school and seeing each other every day. They like see each other occasionally on holidays and stuff.
Well, and I also
Uh,
think it speaks to friendships we make when we're younger, right? Like, that are
mm,
friendships of circumstance. Like, they're in the same town, so that's why they're friends. They're in the same town, they're the same age, and so they've had life experiences
yeah.
together, but that's kind of it. And I think it's interesting the way their friendships deepen and move apart, when they're sort of tested. It is disappointing how much Matt just completely like pieces out once he
Be
learns about
strong.
Rand, but it's also fitting for Matt. So
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to go find the clip of her channeling here because
yeah, because we
Corwin
see her
says
drawing it in from the mountain.
yeah, okay, so she is like interesting. So, okay, it does look like we can see her like drawing it in from sources. I thought this was just her, you know, bringing Saidar into her, but it'll be interesting if they have it more like a Goku spirit bomb where she's like borrowing energy from the natural world rather than just like I
Yeah, and
actually now that I think about it, I think they will do that.
in this clip, actually, there's a shot that's a really wide frame where you can see her pulling energy from the mountains, actually,
Oh,
or from the
really?
sky. It's kind of a, and I think
Do you
it's
know where it
towards
is?
maybe,
Oh,
oh, there it
this
is.
yes.
And I
I
don't know if
just
it's
see
the
it.
sky or the mountains, but it's clear that she's drawing energy from far away into herself.
Yeah, because every time I imagined people, like, channeling Saidar, it was always sort of mhm. I never imagined it in this way as, like, Saidar existing in the natural world. It was always, like, a completely different plane of reality and experience to me.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
but it makes sense, obviously, in a TV show to do it this way, where it's like it's coming from the world. Did you see it more like this in your head?
Um, so I saw it more as only becoming visible in my mind's eye when they were doing the weaving, but that
Yeah,
they were
same.
drawing from the natural world.
Okay.
So kind of both and, like drawing
Yeah.
from the natural world, but that we wouldn't see it until they're doing the weaving part.
Yeah, same. I mean, I guess I would think you'd see it when they're glowing. They get
Right.
another Dragon Ball Z reference. You'd see, like, the Super Saiyan glow around them, and then,
Mhm.
they'd channel it. They draw on the elements of the one power and weave them into whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I never thought about what that looked like. Um, because you never see people saying, like, "Ooh, I can see her sucking magic in." They're just like, she has the glow of Saidar around her.
Right, right. But the books are super clear that it's not power from within them, and yet it's kinda
Yeah,
confusing because, yeah, it just visually sort of seems like it's coming from,
I guess
with it, but I actually
always
like how they're treating it.
that's why I always thought, like, the power it's not, like, from inside them, but it's like if you can channel, you can tap into, like, a different plane of reality, and that's where the power
Mhm.
lives. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, my
in
own
my head.
personal view yeah, my own personal view of the world is, probably closest to, like, an animist one where I just view the whole world as alive and that
Mhm.
basically Saidar Saidin is flowing through everything, very much
Yeah.
like in The Wheel of Time, which is one of the things I liked about it, but it is also one of the things and we don't have to get too far down this, I know it's a big topic, but one of the things I found so confusing about gendering the one power.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think the gendering of the one power, I'm interested to see how they handle it in the show.
Mhm.
Like, I think it came about because Robert Jordan was interested in doing a few different things, and he came up with the world based on the themes he wanted to explore. Like, he wanted to explore gender dynamics, that was interesting to him. He wanted
Yeah.
to explore this kind of more of like a Hindu, Buddhist, Eastern inspired magic system and like a cliche Western, like disrupt the Western fantasy of J.R.R. Tolkien and bring in like
Mhm.
Eastern influence. And he wanted to do these things. And um, yeah, I think the way he conceptualized gender and the one power was an area where he maybe didn't have the most fleshed out thought process on it, but that's okay. Like, we
It
don't read
definitely
it
helps.
for his yeah, he's not a PhD in gender studies.
But it was certainly rich enough that, you and I can queer the story in,
Oh,
like,
100%.
so many ways. So, like, kudos to him for doing that. And I do think that it helps him have this ongoing conversation about power dynamics in general,
Yeah.
which is, of course, incredibly important. Um, and in the end, I think by the end, I think the only reason Rand is able to have that kind of showdown with Shaitan is because he's kind of beyond, like, that's the whole point, right? Like, he has to kind of move beyond the binary of good and evil,
Yeah.
to something very different. So I actually really like where Robert Jordan kind of winds up with it, and I am so down with your Rand as trans allegory as well, by the way. So
Oh, thank
yeah.
you. Well,
Hmm.
Ren, we'll have to get you on a full episode of The Queer's Blessings so you can dive
Yes.
all into the queer themes here.
Yes.
Um, for now, I Yeah, I think this
Earth
that is what
itself.
this clip is from. She's drawn in
Mhm.
magic from everywhere. Uh,
Mhm.
what are there any other things you think we can say about this clip? I mean, I love the architecture of Shadow Logos. It's
Ugh.
beautiful. I love the magic system. If it wasn't gendered, the taint wouldn't work the way it does. Um, yeah, I mean, I think the magic system is interesting, but as
Mhm.
far as how it interacts with gender, I have a lot of thoughts, Wheel Chazil, and
Yeah, I'm down
another
to talk
time,
about that one day. Yeah.
another time we'll go into it. But just
Yeah.
because I know people are here, I don't wanna no, you don't get toe. There's no toe for bringing up it's like gender is an inevitable discussion when you're talking Wheel of Time. It's such a major theme of the books, right?
Yeah.
Um, I just I don't people done come here for the Wheel of Time drop chat, and I didn't wanna just, like, surprise them out of nowhere with some freaking gender theory, you know? Um I mean, we can. If people in the chat, let us know if you want to get deeper into my ideas on gender in the Wheel of Time. I do have a whole YouTube video about it if you're actually curious.
It's
Secret.
excellent.
I'm just watching back through it. Let's just watch it
Yeah,
one more
let's
time.
one more time.
Let's just do it. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it.
I am Moraine Sedai. 20 years ago, I learned a secret. A vision of a baby being born. A baby who could change the world. In the Last Age, the Dark One was trapped by the last dragon at the cost of almost everything. 20 years ago, the last dragon was reborn. We don't know where or to whom. What I do know is that my mission is to find them. But we're running out of time. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. If I do not succeed, the Earth itself will burn. And the whole world will turn to darkness. There will be one who can stand against him. The dragon has been born again. Who is the dragon reborn?
Okay. Oh
Full
God,
body
it's so good.
goosebumps all over again.
Oh, are we talking gender? Okay, people in the chat want gender.
Where can I see the chat? I wanna check out this chat. Is
Oh,
it on YouTube?
are you're on StreamYard. It's on the right, you see a tab called comments.
Oh, hey everybody.
I'm sorry, I thought you knew that was there. Um, okay, I'm gonna
Woo!
give myself some toe being a bad host and not making sure Ren knew how to talk to all of you. Um, okay, well, I mean, look, if people want gender talk, uh, I I could literally talk for hours about this, because I really love it. But I guess in response to Wheel Chiziel, if it wasn't gendered, the taint wouldn't work the way it does. And I'm not saying that Ren has G. Let's give Ren some G.
Oh,
G for
wow.
Ren. Here
Thank
you go,
you.
Ren. Um, uh, yeah, like I don't think I won't speak for you, Ren. I'll speak for myself. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any sort of like gendered dynamic to channeling in the Wheel of Time. I think it's really interesting. I actually really enjoy it. I think the issue that comes up and where I say like Robert Jordan ran into conflict or it wasn't super well fleshed out is just that he was um it's very binary, and that's okay because he was writing in a time when you don't really expect like a boomer southern gentleman ostensibly cis straight man type to be like too aware of non-binary and spectral gender identities at that point.
I
um
do wanna just interject though, just with that hat though, I read a little
RJ,
queer. Just a little. Anyway, please continue.
this is why I'm always very clear to say from what we know, Robert
Yes.
Jordan. I have no idea what Robert Jordan's internal experience is, and I don't want to speculate. But I also don't want to assume that he was just a cishet, um,
Yeah.
because who knows? Who knows what he was feeling? I mean, he clearly wanted to write a lot of POVs from women.
Mhm.
So, um, but basically, like, it's the boundaries of male and female channeling, and that I think are interesting. And Halima's a really good example. I basically my thesis is the magic system is not binary. And like this is not a canon idea. This is just my interpretation of how channeling works. The one power is actually spectral, and the idea that it is rigidly binary, men channel Sidene, women channel Sidar, is a social construction. It's a social assumption within the world of the Wheel of Time. The same way most people in our society assume that gender is binary. You have men or you have women. And I think it's the same. And because we only ever learn anything in the books from a POV, that means everything we learn about how magic works is limited by the social understandings of the point of view we're getting. We never get like God's eye view of the ontology in the books. And yes, we do get that in the companion in the world of Wheel of Time. But get those out of here. We're not talking about those. Um, so I think basically like you could have people who are non-binary who channel a magic at a different frequency. I think that would be maybe different from Sidene and Sidar, or maybe you have people who are more gender fluid who can channel both at different times or at the same time in different amounts. And I think um I think Halima is interesting because like a lot of people look at Halima and say, well, maybe that's a trans woman character. She's not a trans woman, as far as we know, from what she says. She is placed in a woman's body by the Dark One. There's no indication she wanted to be there. But once she is there, she's like, all right, this is fine. I guess I'm still hot. So like Halima's gender identity, to my best guess, is maybe just someone who's kind of agender or gender neutral or non-binary or bigender, or she's some sort of gender queer. And being placed in a woman's body didn't really cause her much distress. She was like okay with it, but she seemed to be okay with being in a male body as well. The reason she still channels Sidene isn't, as some in the books theorize, because she has like a Sidene channeling soul. She's not a male soul in a woman's body, in my understanding of her. She channels Sidene because she was raised as a man initially. She was a Mab, assigned male at birth. She learned to channel Sidene. It was the assumption she would channel Sidene. And maybe inherently she was more attuned to the male part of the power. And now, once she's in a woman's body, that's just what she knows. That's what she knows how to do. So she keeps doing it. And she doesn't even seem to consider that she could do otherwise. Um, this is my take on Halima. Uh, but I think like what a trans character in the Wheel of Time would look like would be maybe you have someone who transitions later in life. So like Halima, they're AMAB. They go through the Black Tower. They become an Ashaman. They learn how to channel Sidene. And then later they're like, wait, actually, I don't want to be a man. I want to be a woman. I don't like this. And maybe they do magical HRT or whatever. And they start wearing hot black dresses with, lightning bolts and dragons on them. And they're like, I'm still an Ashaman. Like, I'm Fraud of the Black Tower. I'm just a hot chick now. And they still channel Sidene. Maybe as they transition and they come in tune with femininity and they embrace their own femininity, they start to sense Sidar. Maybe not. I don't know. Everyone's experience is different. This is a rough condensing of my rambling thoughts on the matter. Ren, how do you feel?
I just had so many feels about that, like, Black Tower dress, like that was so good. Yeah, I think you and I are actually deeply aligned on this, and I would love to talk with you about it when I can properly gather my thoughts instead of like a spur of the moment thing. But
I'll get you on the
um,
queer's blessing so you can
I would
prepare in the future. But for now,
totally love that. But for now, yeah, and just to contextualize this for folks, my own view, my own lived experience is really informing this, just because I identify as gender liminal or gender queer, or non-binary, and some like the most common language around that. And so I was really grappling with like, how do I fit into this world? Like, how do I channel? And when I heard you describing, because I listened to your episode where you basically said what you just shared there, Sarah, so well, and I just like that just hits so hard, the idea of magic as a spectrum, because I view gender as a spectrum. And the way that, people might have an affinity for Saidin or Saidar, I feel like it's a really good way to mirror how, if someone identifies as, mask, for example, like it's important to affirm that. Like I don't want
And
to
for
ever
those who are not constantly immersed in gendered language, that's MASC, short for masculine.
Oh, yes, apologies, yeah. Because I never wanna deny that for someone's experience, like, for some people, having that experience of a male gender, for example, is incredibly important, and for some people, they had to fight to, like, have that respected and, lived. And so there were gonna, to talk about channeling, some people maybe do have that strong affinity for that end of the spectrum. And that's beautiful and that's lovely, right? And then, but on the spectrum, it also leaves a lot of space for people to access other experiences there. And people like me who maybe would be sort of channeling on some end of the spectrum sometimes, maybe other parts of the spectrum at other times. And just really needing to have that sort of freedom to experience all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty aligned on. Oh, and Halima. Yeah. The only thing I want to add, because I just plus one everything you said. The only thing that was disappointing about Halima to me is I feel like that plot line fit very squarely in the unfortunate like stereotype of like, look at how funny, cross-dressing or, trans people are, which,
Mm.
I think if RJ were writing this today, he would have written that. Even if the plot had been exactly the same, I suspect strongly that he would have written it differently. It
Yeah.
just kind of came off that way to me, which I was like, oh, no, no.
I
But
can see that. I definitely,
at first, I think
yeah.
you're totally spot on about how that kind of evolved. But
No, you're right. Like it definitely plays into some tropes about like it could easily have been coming from a perspective of, oh, it's so funny. Look, this man is a hot woman now. Look at she's got big boobs and men are having sex with her and they don't know she used to be a man. Definitely like that's like a very 90s like
mhm,
cheap humor. Uh
yeah.
I just prefer not to read her that way. Um
Oh, totally.
yeah, just not to say that your reading is not at all legitimate and a warranted concern. But just like when I read her, I also think she's very funny for other reasons. I just love the
Yes.
idea of someone who's like, "Guess I'm a hot woman now. Oh well, I'm just gonna be a disaster bisexual forsaken from here forth henceforth." And that's what I mean. Like, Robert Jordan wanted to talk about gender. He wanted to be like he wanted to be accepting of queer people. Like
Yes.
he has said on the record, one third to one half of all Aes Sedai are either lesbian or bisexual. Like
Yep.
these are things he wanted to talk about and was interested in. And I think he was interested in being broadly supportive of the queer community, but just like didn't know how to do it very well. And it was like a very
Mhm.
different conversation when he was writing. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I had never even heard of a trans person by the time, like Knife of Dreams came out. Um,
Mhm.
so I
Well,
don't
and
like
also,
blame him for being clumsy.
yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I'm not poly, but the fact that he chose to center a poly relationship as the central romance in his 4 million word
Yeah.
world is pretty fucking transgressive. And yes, there are problems with the way he wrote that as well. But there's just not a bone in my body that doesn't think that he was on the on the good side, so to speak. And his heart
Yeah.
was in the right place for all of this.
exactly. And that Tawil Chazil, like Ren just spoke to this.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's like Ren, I didn't take you as saying RJ was trying to do that with Halima necessarily, or did you think he was?
So, on the whole, I think it winds up being in a good place. I'm mainly thinking of the initial scene where the other
Mm.
Forsaken are like, "Whoa, look at that punishment that was just
Oh yeah,
inflicted." But then it becomes, like, very immediately, just like you said, actually very, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? There's just a lot of, like, queer coding and even, like, overt
yeah,
queerness and just a lot of really fun stuff that actually comes out of that and winds up being, a really important sort of plot point as well.
yeah. No, I totally what you're saying. The Forsaken in the world see it in that 90
Right.
cheesy
They
transphobic
see it as like
comedy
a
way.
Tootsie kinda thing, yeah,
Yeah. But
or Mrs.
that's actually one
Doubtfire.
of the things I really like about it is, like, it's meant to be a punishment. And, like,
Right.
the Forsaken and the Dark One are like, "Fuck you, you're gonna be a woman now. That's your punishment." And,
Mhm.
um, what I think is really good about what Robert Jordan did, and I think this was conscious, is he's, like, subverting that trope
Yes.
because Halima is like, I don't know, it's not really a punishment, y'all. It's kind of fun. It's kinda nice. I could get used to
Totally.
this. Um
Yeah.
And it ends up allowing her to, like, explore her total bisexual identity in a way she hadn't felt free to explore before, as far as we
Mhm.
know. Um,
Mhm.
so I think I think it ends up in a good place, but, yeah. I don't think he was picking low-hanging fruit. I'm not trying to accuse Robert Jordan of doing anything mean-spiritedly or phobically.
No.
Um, I think he wanted to have fairly, as you said, Ren, transgressive and progressive conversations.
Yeah.
Um, but like inevitably that's always going to end up stumbling in areas. And I think the binarity of Saidar Saidin is just one of those
Mhm.
things where he was trapped maybe in his own understanding of how like gender worked. And that's okay. Like these discussions, these social conversations around things like gender, sexuality, everything
Mhm.
are always evolving. And
Yeah.
anything written in one time frame is going to be anachronistic in the future from a different lens. So I'm not. This
Yeah,
isn't
and
like
I
an anti RJ thing.
no, no, no. And beyond the poly relationship example that I cited, I would argue that investigating binaries and ultimately making them much more complex is at the heart of just about every major thing in the plot. So
Yeah.
you look at obviously there's Saidar Sardine, but you look at evil versus good and the sort of showdown that he and Shaitan
Mhm.
have in the end, and how it only really comes to a place of Rand quote unquote winning when it doesn't become about absolute evil winning or absolute good winning, but that there's freedom to choose, right? Or you look at Perrin and the narrative of man versus like the animal nature and how he
Yeah.
actually, it's again, he doesn't become the one, I forget the character's name, but he doesn't become the one guy who's just basically full on wolf. And he also can't, he's not allowed to just completely deny that either. He has to
Yeah.
find that. So I could go on. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
I
totally.
think RJ was incredibly invested in dismantling binaries or at least making them more complex.
I also love though with like just because you just brought it up, I love that that guy who goes full wolf did it by
Mhm.
choice and is like
Yeah.
loving it. Like
Yeah.
it's not even a bad thing. It's like, look, if you want to exist on the end of the spectrum, if that's where you are, have at it.
Mhm. Mhm.
um yeah, a lot of people in the chat talking poly representation.
Woo woo.
I hope they do a better job. I mean, yeah, I'm in a poly relationship, so to be open about it. I am one of my partner has multiple partners. I am single, so I'm in the min situation here. Um and I really like how the books uh maybe not how they handle it always, but I like that it's there. And
Mhm.
I've seen a very common criticism lobbed at Rand's relationship where people are they see it as like a classic polygamy as this like inherently anti-woman misogynist, um, like harkening back to polygamy and harems, and I disagree. It's very much polyamory. I don't think it is polygamy. Um, Rand is very clear throughout the whole thing. He's like, "Oh, I'm such a lecher for wanting to date multiple people." He's like, again, he's having this idea, this attraction that is outside of the social norm. He's like, "Wait, I'm like in love with multiple people, but society tells me that's wrong." And it's like him having to confront the social structures that are limiting his understanding of what's possible. And the women enter into it by choice. It's, like, very
Mhm.
consensual. They all come to
Mhm.
him and they're like, "Marry all of us or none of us," or "Bond all of us or none of us." Um, so, yeah, like, Mary Lou posited that they would abandon the poly nature of Rand's relationship in the show because she thought it would be too hard for audiences to get behind, and it'd be too confusing and complex and prone to criticism. I very much disagree. Uh, I think they will explore it, and I hope they explore it.
Yeah, well, and actually, I'm 99% sure I'm remembering this right, but in one of the little like mini Q&As that Rafe did on Instagram, he mentioned, I think he specifically used the word polyamory.
Hmm.
And I'm so excited to see how he handles that because as we all know, he's a gay man, but he's also coming from a Mormon, I think his Mormon background. I definitely know some form of more Orthodox Christianity, but I'm pretty sure it was Mormonism. So yeah, I cannot imagine that they're going to skip over that.
Yeah, he was raised in a big Mormon family in Salt Lake City.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and Brandon Sanderson also is a practicing Mormon, I believe.
Oh,
Um,
I did not know that.
yeah, there's a ton of sci-fi writers and creators who are Mormon. I think I don't know because like Mormon kids aren't allowed to drink and stuff. They just become huge nerds and get really into sci-fi.
Gotta
That's
get
my
freaky in
theory.
their heads.
If you're a Mormon
Yeah.
in the chat, yes, I called you a huge nerd. Um, and for that, I take toe. Uh, okay. Rafe has said it would be polyamory. Good.
Yeah, yeah, okay, cool. So I did see that.
I
Yeah.
don't know anything about Rafe's personal life, but I do know that the vast majority of gay people I know are in some sort of ethically non-monogamous relationship structure or have been in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rafe had experience with this sort of thing. Is what I'm saying. Um,
Mhm.
okay. Choice from Wine Spring Cafe. Yeah, they go into it by choice. People are like, oh, he's like,
Yeah.
people are like, oh, poor Min. She's so desperately in love with Rand that she just goes along with him dating other people. I'm like, no, Min is an active
Mm-mm.
participant in her life.
Mm-mm. Min literally sees the vision and then sets out fiercely to make it happen. Like
Yeah.
she propels it. Do not come for Min. Min is one of the characters I identify with the most closely, especially as a GNC, gender
Mhm.
nonconforming character in the book. So yeah.
Yeah, Min
Which
knows
you
from
can
the
come for
absolute
Min. Let's have dialogue, but you know.
Yeah, the second she sees Rand, she knows she's gonna be in a polyamorous relationship with him. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, you could say it's non-consensual in the sense that everything that happens to Rand is
Right.
non-consensual because of the pattern and Taviran and stuff, but, um
Yeah, Let's Be Nerdy has, I think, a good video that sort of critiques the way that romance is kind of handled in the Wheel of Time. And she's coming from a Black female lesbian perspective. So check that out too if you're looking for more conversations on this. But one thing that she brings up that I shared was just that I didn't have problems so much with Rand's romance and the four of them, that it was more that I just wanted more queerness for some of the other female characters.
Mm,
I wanted more, it just felt like he got a lot from that sort of dynamic, and there wasn't as much juiciness. Like that was so rich, and there was so much space devoted to that, and I just would have loved to see that kind of spread around a bit, if that makes sense.
Do you mean within the polycule or and other
All
relationships?
all of the above. I mean, I know we get little glimpses of other poly relationships among the Aiel, which is, like, really interesting, and I loved that. I think part of it was just me feeling a little stung about, like, pillow friends felt a
Mm,
little written off to me, and I was like, and I know I
yeah,
also saw the really awesome RJ notes on that, and again, I think RJ was very much on the side of queerness here,
yeah,
but you know, in some moments they kind of write it off as like a youthful thing.
for sure.
Whereas
Yeah,
the poly relationship gets held up as something totally valid. So I think I was just a little bit stung by that, to be honest.
yeah, I could see that. And like again, just he was writing about a lot of stuff that, and I do want to highlight a comment I saw
That we're
earlier.
both kind of Farshas.
Oh no, that's kind of true. Um, yeah, he was ahead of the curve for his time, especially for a man of his like generation and all of his various social classes he's a member of. It's like
Mhm.
he did a pretty good job, but I agree, like, he stumbles at times because he's handling things that he's probably not super familiar with and that he probably wasn't super engaged in the dialogue. Like, I doubt he was sitting there reading queer theory or, like, I doubt he was going to lesbian groups to talk about them. I do think it came from a good place. I think one of the problems he had is I think he subscribed to a sort of like progressivism of his era where what mattered was acceptance, and acceptance ultimately looked like being ignored and not a big deal. So for him, it was like radical that, well, bi, gay people are so accepted in this society that it goes without
Yeah.
note, which is a radical idea,
Oh
but
yeah.
that ends up allowing him to get away with like not having to actually represent gay people very often because he's like, yeah, they're all over the place. I never happened to have one in a POV, um,
Mhm.
which is kind
Yeah,
of a cop
when
out. But
yeah, but to your point, like, I remember I was, like, in the shower listening to Kate Redding read Swan Sanche, like, there's some comment that's, like, someone mentions 2 pillow friends and, like,
mhm,
that stayed like, they're partnered, basically. I forget who the characters are, and Swan's like, "Why were they hiding that? That's, like, no big deal," and I was like, "Yes!"
yeah, and then there's like that later when Codswan is like trying to figure out like there's like one of these Aes Sedai is up to some sketchy shit, and then it turns out like she's just having a relationship with a sea folk woman. And
Yes!
she's like, "Okay, bring me some real stuff here. I don't care about that." Um, yeah, so it's there. It's if he were writing the series 20 years later, it would have looked super different. Um, I think is the bottom line. Like
Yeah, and I'm
society has
just so
changed a lot.
mhm. And I'm deeply grateful to the queerness, the like majestic and complex and diverse queerness that RJ gave us is mm,
Yeah.
like such a gift, right? And I'm also simultaneously excited to see how they enrich that through the TV representation.
Ash says Matt can flirt with cute serving boys with pretty eyes too. Look, Matt can be a disaster bisexual. Um, to me, the gayest of them all is well, obviously, I think Randall Thor is a transbian, a trans woman lesbian. That goes
Clearly.
without saying, and I know everyone agrees with
Yeah.
me. But I think Perrin is the more mask for mask gay of them all.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, yeah, I think Perrin and Gaul could have a great relationship.
Well,
Uh,
and you know that's what Aram was really after the whole
oh
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Morgan
and, I'm like, "Oh,
on.
so Aram just picked up on these vibes out of nowhere?" Like,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's because your sword is so
Yeah, Perrin is,
enticing."
like, super jealous, and you Aram's a really interesting story as,
Mhm.
just a gay allegory. I'm spitballing here, but, like, going against breaking all of the social norms of his people and, like, deciding to embrace the sword, pretty gay, y'all, pretty
Yeah,
gay.
and then, like, trying to kill his wife, because he, like, really wanted in on that.
When Aram when Aram wanted to put a sword in Perrin's back, yeah. look, I mean, Perrin's whole story is him being like, I have these strong animal impulses, but I have to fight them.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Oh no, what if people know? What if people know? What if they can see my golden eyes? That means they know I'm totally gay for dicks." Uh,
Mhm.
right? That's everyone can relate to
Mhm.
that experience. Um, anyway, I saw some other comments. Wait, up here. Okay. SC2 Wingless says, I don't know. I always thought the Dark One was above sex and gender. He just took a random body and didn't care about the
Ha!
correct sex, but I could be wrong. I like this idea of a gender agnostic Dark One. The reason I don't think it's true, it might be true in the case of Arangar. I'll pay attention on my current read through. But I think the Dark One's very intentional with these bodies as punishments. Like, there's a
Yeah.
reason that Grendel, whose whole thing is hotness,
Mhm.
is reincarnated as
Oh god,
like an
Grendel.
ugly old woman. Um, like the reincarnations, I think they're intentional. I don't. It's
Yeah.
not a random grab bag. And if it were a random grab bag, there are plenty of Forsaken who are reborn. You would see more of these cross gender reincarnations, just probabilistically.
Mhm.
Um, Perrin has two wolves inside him.
They're
They're
both
both
gay.
gay. This is why I want fight. Okay, I here's if I were writing the story and I had the go ahead to just like queer it up. Perrin dates Fail.
I would so pay for that,
When
by the
Perrin
way.
meets Fael, Fael presents as a woman. Perrin is struggling with his sexuality, but he does find himself oddly attracted to Fael. And when he starts dating Fael, he's like, "Oh, phew, I'm straight. I'm attracted to this woman." And then over time, Fael we realize and Fael confesses, like, actually, like, I've never felt right living as a woman. I actually identify more as a man or as like a non-binary mask person.
Mhm. Or
And
as a
then
hunter
like
for the horn, if you will.
exactly. And this runs parallel with Matt Perrin's acceptance of himself. And in the end, Fael transitions and they end up as a proudly gay man couple. Perrin has embraced his wolf. Um, I don't know what name Fael would pick. Mandarb, because that was the first name Fael picked. Mandarb is now living as a proud and out gay trans man, and they're in a thruple with Gaul. They're actually in a fivesome. Um, Gaul is dating both Perrin and Mandarb and Bane and Chiad. Uh, and obviously Bane and Chiad are primary partners with each other. And this has been making polycules out of the Wheel of Time characters with Sarah Kaplan and Bryn Sadai. Um, oh, the other major polycule, obviously, Moraine, Swan, Gareth, and Tom.
Uh, yeah, but we'd have to talk about the Gareth thing.
It's a chain. It's a polycule. Swan is
Oh, I'm
dating
down
both
for the
Moraine and
polycule, but
Gareth. You don't
I
like
just have
Gareth as a
there's
partner.
just a whole side conversation to have about Gareth and Swan.
Okay. You don't like
Yeah.
it?
But in general, I am so here for Moraine and Swan, period. And then do whatever you want on top of that, because I'm taken care of right there with just those two.
Don't try and make Fael a good character. Um, yes, this is come here, headcanon talk. I actually do a formal headcanon talk on my podcast, The Queer's Blessing, where I bring queer Wheel of Time fans to this very live stream to talk Wheel of Time and all of its gayness and gay headcanons. This has basically become a Queer's Blessing episode. Um,
Oh yeah, Swan and Moraine. Like I would love that so much if
yeah,
they just weave that in from episode whatever one that
yeah.
she's in.
Although now that we've got Hot Tom, that
I
Moraine Tom
know.
pairing makes so much more sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, you did not like that Moraine and Swan had such good chemistry and both ended up in a straight relationship. Well, this is the thing. Just because they're in straight relationships
Mhm.
doesn't mean they're not still thoroughly bi or pan or whatever. It
Mhm.
happens.
Yeah,
But this
I'm
is
one of those where I'm
yeah.
pan and genderqueer and married a total cishet dude.
It it happens to the best of us sometimes, Ren. Um, but this is why I want them to be in a polycule, I will admit. Uh,
Yeah.
I think relationships will just be a bit more fluid in this world. The world is
Mhm.
literally ending. Who
I
has
was
time
just
to
gonna
care
say
about
that,
that shit?
like, yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah, and
agree.
I'm
It is
I'm
weird.
actually really happy that that they aged the characters up, that,
But they're only 20. I thought they were gonna be
yeah,
like mid-20s, but now with this teaser, they're only 20.
you mean
So
just, like, looking at that, like, their look.
no, no, she's like 20 years ago.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Right, right, yeah. But I mean, it's old enough that they can do the sex
Yeah.
stuff, willy-nilly.
I am Moraine Sedai.
I'm happy about that, and I'm also happy that that they just invited sex into clearly, like, episode 1 with Egwene and Rand.
Yeah.
And in that case, I think we can all see how that would actually lend itself to legitimately, advancing the plot line and not just like Game of Thrones, like sex for sex. Well, that's a lot of that wasn't even sex.
Yeah.
Something else, but
Let's get the clip. It was requested by Wheel Chazil. Uh, unfortunately, becoming a trademark of my channel, what I am henceforth dubbing the gory hole. Apologies for that image. Uh, this is not my fault. This is Wheel Chazil's fault. Um,
thanks, Wheel Chazil.
uh, yeah, I know. I know, Dan. I know. I've been there. I've been there. Um, yeah, I
The
am really
earth
excited to see
itself
what they
will
do.
burn.
Who knows? I really like Marin Elvier from the very little we've seen of her.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, see, Game of Thrones was just random boobies in the background. Yeah, sex in Game
Yeah,
of
I saw
Thrones,
someone.
it's fun.
Yeah, someone. It was in one of those like CW threads on Twitter, and
Okay,
someone made the best on point comment, which was like, "Does this
I have
feel like
to.
CW2 because does this feel like CW2 because there isn't like egregious boob and sexual violation and violence going on? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, and I kind of feel like you could say the same thing for people looking at how many powerful women are in this, and sort of, I mean, that's just
Yeah,
like classic misogyny to be like, oh, powerful women, it's not a serious story then. It's clearly like YA.
yeah, Wheel Chazil, I'm giving you, God, just so much toe for this one. But now you want the toe. I don't even know what to do. Um,
What would Amos do here?
but no, yeah, I agree with you. It's first of all, I really enjoy many CW shows. The issue with the
Oh,
CW shows,
I like
people.
all kinds of like low budget, like,
No, no, I know.
whatever
Yeah, no,
stuff.
no. It's a complaint about the aesthetic, but I'm like, the issue with the CW shows is writing. Not you can't look at a 1-minute teaser where you never hear any dialogue and say that's a CW show. Um, we don't fucking know. And if it is a CW show, I will happily watch Two Riversdale all day long. Um, okay, I sadly will have to bring this stream to an end because I have to go get new passports. But Rin Sedai, thank you so much for joining me on this last minute stream. And everyone in the chat, thank you so
You were
much
delightful.
for being with us. Oh, it's great. Even if some of you cough wheel Chazil cough are gluttons for toe, uh, y'all are fantastic. And hopefully we get like another big drop soon. Trailer Guy Don coming up. I don't know, but I'll be streaming it because I don't have a life other than Wheel of Time. That's right. I'm failing out of law school for you people, but it's worth it. Um, Ren Sedai, thank you again. Ren, where can people find you?
Yeah, I am Rin Sedai on Twitter. That's just Watt. And my other selves can be found on Instagram, Catherine.a.fink. And I make a podcast called The Heart is a Cauldron that I
Art is
suspect some of
very
you would like.
witchy.
Mhm.
And why not? I'm gonna post a link to the Queer's Blessing in case any
Yes.
of you out there are queerdos and want to join and talk Wheel of Time with us in there.
Sweet little
Um,
space.
allies are also welcome, but if you're like a huge dick and you're mean, go away. But I assume everyone here is super cool, so come talk Wheel of Time with us. And I am Sarah. You can find me on Twitter at Spear Maidens, where I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, y'all. I'm my life is Wheel of Time. I am become Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time is Shadow Logoth. I am a unsuspecting traveler who has wandered in. Um, and now I am. Where's that horse? Where's that horse? I need to leave, but where's the horse?
Dark One is waiting. His
We're gonna
whispers
piece out
are
like the
already
horse pieces out.
Yeah, yeah. Now I need to see this horse, people. Where are you? Come here, horse. Which is Cloud, according to our poll. I know this is the longest exit ever, but this is what happens when someone who has very bad ADHD is like running live streams. It's like they're totally disordered and they never end. Um, there it is. That's me being devoured by the Mashadar that is the Wheel of Time. And thank you so much for joining us. This has been Maidens of the Spear, where we talk about the Wheel of Time, and we hope you had a really good time and have a good rest of your day.